The 2015 HotelPlanner.com PGA EuroPro Tour is in full swing, and this week we find ourselves in the beautiful yet very windy Northumberland at the Longhirst Golf Club for event 4 of the season. Welcome to Longhirst Hall for the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic. This is the 6th visit to Northumberland and the 2nd time on the Dawson course. So here's what's coming up on this week's show. We have final round action from the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic. We speak to Elliot Saltman on life after the EuroPro Tour.
Thankfully I did it by winning the 2 trophies order of merit, which was nice, and using the challenge as a stepping stone to bigger and better things.
Johnny Morgan gives us the lowdown of the Dawson course.
That's a great shot. What an absolute shocker.
Ex-England cricketer Steve Harmison drops by to chat about his involvement with Longhirst Hall.
I think it's great that the EuroPro Tour exists. It's a stepping stone into the Challenge Tour, which gets you into the big time.
And we continue our search for the EuroPro's fantasy golf course.
It's a great finishing hole, a lovely par 3, great way to finish the championship.
All that to come, but for now I'm lucky enough to be joined by Ian Clough from the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange. So Ian, how important is it today that you're supporting the EuroPro Tour?
It's very important. It's part of Dawson and Sanderson's development strategy for golf up in the northeast, and we're very keen to get Longhirst on the map, and this fits in very nicely.
And how important is it that you're supporting a developmental tour?
It's great to be involved with the youth. It's great to see the up and coming players, and it's nice to know that in the future we'll have seen some of these guys here first.
This season's PGA EuroPro Tour has got off to a blistering start. We've had high drama, fantastic shots, 2 first-time winners and even a hole-in-one. So here are some of the highlights. Gary King battled the elements to win the opener at Celtic Manor. King was also in fine form at Frilford Heath, shooting a course record on his way to the title. And Darren Wright held his nerve down the stretch at Burr Hill to record his maiden tour victory. So, to round up, the race to Desert Springs Order of Merit. Gary King, after his 2 wins, is leading the way. Darren Wright, having won at Burr Hill, holds 2nd position. And Alan Dunbar, James Fraser and Billy Hemstock, who have all made solid start to their season, make up the rest of the top 5. So the scene is set for these young pros, but with these extremely high winds, it isn't going to be easy for golf's future stars, as Johnny Morgan explains.
Well, thank you, Sian. Now, the boys are going to have to contend with, at Longhirst, some big problems. You've got thick rough, you've got gorse bushes, you've got trees, you've got water hazards and plenty of water around the golf course as well to boot. You've got beautiful fairways cut to perfection, and you've got small greens, very fiddly to come into, and also the elements very, very windy in these open conditions around this track. Now, here at Longhirst, at 7,116 yards long, par 72, the boys are going to find this a stiff test. Back to you.
Thanks, John. So a stern test for the players, with 55 making the 3-over cut and 7 golfers within 3 shots of the lead. It's going to be a close finish. So let's take a look at our leaders going into the final round. Mark Lasky was a winner on the EuroPro at Roallan Castle in 2013 and came 5th at Celtic Manor 3 weeks ago.
Well, I've won on here before, so I know how to just keep it ticking along and hopefully stay in contention. Just keep playing one shot at a time today, that's all you can do.
His playing partner Sam Connor is looking for his first EuroPro win and carded the tournament's best score so far, a 6 under in the opening round. Connor was in contention on several occasions last summer, but is still hunting that elusive first place.
If I drive it well and putt well, I generally score quite well, and that's been the case this week. I've really been happy with the way I've done both of those skills, so yeah, I'm really happy so far with how I've performed.
Scotsman Neil Fenwick finished inside the top 20 on last season's Order of Merit and is yet to miss a cut this season.
Well, it's all about mindset, I think, isn't it? Because you know it's going to be really tough. So pars are going to be great out here. You know, there's going to be a lot of bogeys, but there's also going to be a few chances. It's just try and lower the ball flight a bit and just stay patient.
Christopher Evans has enjoyed plenty of success in Midlands regional events and came through qualifying school to secure a card for this season's EuroPro. He's already shown this week he's more than capable of making the step up and is homing in on the best result of his career.
I think it's more of a survival test today. It's that windy that to keep control of the ball flight is going to be almost impossible. So it's going to be more of a survival around the greens. Just get it as close to the flags as possible and just get it in the hole.
So the pressure is on for Christopher Evans to hold his nerve and record his first EuroPro Tour victory. Will the man from Birmingham prevail, or will he be caught by the chasing pack? To fill you in on all the action is Gary Ellis, Johnny Morgan, but first, Simon Golding.
Thank you very much, Sian. Yeah, let's take a look at the leaderboard after 2 days of play and some pretty reasonable scoring out there that leaves Christopher Evans in top spot on 7 under and a decent chasing pack just behind him. A couple of youngsters in there looking for their first win on the EuroPro Tour alongside some more experienced names. And talking of experienced names, Gary Ellis and Johnny Morgan alongside me today. You just get the feeling, guys, they're going to need all of those shots as protection with the breeze as it is.
Yeah, very tough today, Simon. The wind's really up. Difficult golf course, and controlling the ball under these conditions is going to be very hard, with it quite bouncy as well.
Well, Daniel Gavin's away the par 4 first. Gavin's who had a season on the Challenge Tour, having qualified through from the EuroPro Tour the year before that. Jason Timmis at the par 3 third. Newcastle underlying golfer. John, what are the main demands going to be today? I called it a breeze, but let's be honest, it's a real gale in some places.
Mate, it's absolutely blowing a hoolie, Simon. I mean, this is coming in sideways, straight into, down. I've been very, very hard to judge and get the right club. I mean, I'm sure Gary will agree with me on this. This is one when you're into wind, and, you know, it might be an 8-iron distance, but you want to get the 6 or the 5-iron out, don't you, again?
Yeah, absolutely. This is about taking more club and swinging easy, 3/4 swing, because if you try to punch the ball in this, you put too much backspin on it and it just balloons at the end of the flight.
Like they say, when it's breezy, swing it easy.
And it's not just going to be swinging the club from the fairways as well. There'll be a few problems on the greens, and that ball marked very quickly by Timmis. Now, Daniel Gavins has an uncanny ability to actually judge the distance of his clubs in his bag, and he's been recorded as better than even Tiger Woods in a score a couple of years back, and had to rely on all his skills there. Now Timmis to tidy up at 3.
That's a hell of a beat there, Simon. If that's true, I'm sure it is. But that's a lovely putt there.
Yeah, they put him through the computer numbers, came out ahead of the Molinari brothers and so on, so really knows what's in his bag, knows how the clubs play.
Fancy, fancy. That's very good. Good skills by Daniel. Nice little putt here. Break from right and left. Oh, and it grabs the right edge. Nice putt from Daniel. Yeah, there you go. A few watery eyes going off.
Brings a tear to the eyes. Now, a swing that we've been admiring for many weeks. James Fraser trails by 4 shots as he starts his final round.
Yeah, this first hole is very tough, very long, very demanding. Funky green, kind of slanting away from you. I mean, James Fraser's a big boy and he hits the ball a long way. I mean, this will suit him. It's nice to see Elliot Simon back. Ooh.
Oh, my goodness me.
Over the top and hooking away from his target by a mile. Not the best we've seen from Elliot there.
No, we've seen better, and that was a bit wide.
But this is what the conditions do to you, though, doesn't it? It just plays havoc with your swing.
Yeah, these conditions are very important because you start to take the club away too quickly, it all gets quick and short, and then goodness only knows what happens from the top of the backswing.
I always find, don't you find, like you go to the next week and it's dead still, and then you need to get to the range and kind of hit some smooth shots, you know, some nice rhythmical swings to get your swing back on plane again.
It's very interesting. When I was a kid, the Americans used to come over for the Open Championship. They wouldn't play in those sorts of conditions, but they always said, the Americans that I knew, Jack Nicklaus and people, said that they could maintain their swing for maybe a week or so, but after that they had to scuttle back to the sunshine, get on the range and sort it out.
Yeah, you'd have to. We just seen Elliot Saltman pitch it into the middle of the green, and the wind's just taking it straight off the front edge. Holy guacamole.
This is going to be a roller coaster ride today. I think we're going to have a fascinating final round, and this won't be the last that we see of that kind of result, I'm afraid. Fraser disappointed.
Unfortunately, this is going to be a comedy of errors day, I think. You know, this is a very, very tough test.
Yeah, they're going to have to stay very patient, think clearly, and play for the middle of the greens. No good going pin seeking on a day like today.
Whoever the winner is, Gary, they're going to be worn out after this round, that's for sure. I mean, this just takes so much mental, you know, fatigue out of you. I mean, batters you, doesn't it? Really.
I was going to say, let's look to the positives for Fraser, but no positives as yet on the first. Saltman over this putt.
Well, if there was anyone that could withstand the wind, because he's a big lad, this man could hold up. No, not to be.
So it's so difficult. You don't know whether to play the break or the wind when it's this strong, and that's we're going to see that a lot.
I think used to the wind up in Scotland and the coldness, and all got their layers on, and that is a putt. We're not going to see many of them rolled in from distance. That's a hell of a putt.
That's fantastic stuff from Timmis. His finish so far tied 13th at Celtic Manor earlier in the season, the World Snooker Open.
I mean, Daniel Gavin's work ethic as well is fantastic. In the gym all the time, you never see him out of it. Really works on his stability, you know, his core strength, and this is going to be really, really good for obviously these windy conditions, Gary.
Yes, anybody that can keep their stability on this, keep the balance, it's going to help them get a better contact and control the golf ball.
Lovely, man.
Fraser trying to recover the situation at the first. That one's kicked on as well. Goodness me, just can't get the ball near to the flag at the moment.
This is just, yeah, this is extreme. I mean, having to run up, I bet we see Daniel just kind of, God, look at that win then. Hit that ball sideways.
That was incredible. 3 feet in the air and it's just taken it away. Absolutely amazing.
He's got to be like a Usain Bolt running up to the ball and try and mark it before it blows off the green.
So there we go, boys. That's your exam paper for today. And it's going to be who copes the best. Damage limitation, and not happening, I'm afraid, for James Fraser at the moment. Gavin's then for something I don't think we're going to see too much of today, a par.
Yeah, this is definitely like Gary was saying, you've got to take the rough with the smooth on this. Just take the, you know, take the bad holes when they come, because you are going to get some, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, just on the evidence of what we're seeing here, 75, 76 is going to be a good score today.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Was it 66 was the best score on the first day, so I mean, it shows you the conditions.
Well, fantastic stuff out there at the moment, and I do mean fantastic. We're yet to see the leaders out onto the course, but they'll have a pretty good idea of the demand that lies ahead. I think we are in for a real battle in the final round of the Dawson Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic. So Evans and the chasing group of leading players still to head out into these windy conditions. See how they get on after the break. Welcome back to the HotelPlanner.com PGA EuroPro Tour here at Longhirst in the northeast. John E. Morgan is down on the first for a closer look.
Well, here at the first hole, the boys have got to contend with a 470-yard par 4 off the tee. Now, as you come with me on the drone, you're going to see off the tee box, there's water in front of them. Very wide landing area though on the fairway. Coming in on the right hand side, thick rough and trees. On the left, a few bushes and thick rough. And as they come up, like I said, the water's in play from 290, 300 off the tee. And with a downward breeze, they're going to be coming and probably hitting that if they get the driver out. But then the second shot is where it's all at. You know, they're coming in with a long iron to this very narrow green. And as you join me now on the green, you're going to see this bunker on the right hand side, which comes massively into play, because if the pin is tucked like it is today on the back right hand side, you know, the boys, if they want to go at this pin, will probably find themselves definitely in the sand. Now on the left hand side, if you miss it no more than 4 or 5 feet, you're going to get a massive kick and you'll be swimming and dancing in there and you're not going to be happy. But to land it on this green and hold on this green is going to be one mean feat, especially with a long iron in your hand.
I'm guessing, John, you had to head out pretty early to film that one because there wasn't that much breeze then.
No, there was not. There was hardly any whatsoever. I mean, these guys coming into this first hole, well, it's just a, what can I say, it's got to be the hardest hole on the golf course.
So Evans leads at 7 under, and now we get into our group of leading players. And Gary, I guess we can speculate on what sort of score's going to win it, because surely they're not going to be able to maintain too far under par today.
No, I think it's going to be very difficult for anybody who matches par in this leading couple of groups. I think can come out on top.
Definitely, Gary. As we can see, they're just pulling irons off the tee. Just shows you, just putting it up into the sky, let the wind take it. And look at this, bounding on and on, straight down the middle of the fairway. He's just not going to stop. No, you know, that leaves himself with 200 odd yards to go to a downwind, shallow green that's going away from you with water behind. Ugh, gives me the weebie-jeebies.
Out to the course then, and Michael Stewart from Troon Welbeck, tied 11th at Frilford Heath, but he had a good start to the season with a couple of decent results at Q School, but that's not a decent result.
Now you can see here trying to keep his weight on his left side to be able to drive down onto the golf ball, but just didn't quite manage to square up the club face. A little bit of cut on it and the wind's just whipped it away.
You can see the flags, well, you think they might get broken in half the way the wind's howling. I mean, this one here, coming off the left-hand side, you've got to aim it at the water. Look at this ball. Look at this ball. Oh, my goodness. Well, I tell you what, that was bordering on line of world-class golf shot, and it still missed the green.
It's so hard and downwind, and the green isn't that big to then let the ball run up. Very, very tough.
I think the play on that hole, actually, is just aim for that bunker, and hopefully it goes in.
Look at,
look at that.
Phenomenal stuff from behind the advertising hoardings by Michael Stewart. Well, that will help things out tremendously now.
Yeah, no, Simon, he's just aimed that lovely at this bush that's on the left-hand side, right by the water, and that's what you've got to do. And that's a clever play, Gary. I mean, just playing for that front left.
Yeah, it was a good spot. It's a little bit unlucky it didn't just bump up onto the green, but should leave a bit easier chip.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Mr. Saltman. Here we go now to the island green. Now, this ain't easy, especially in these conditions. Oh, yes. Look at that. No wonder he won it last year. No wonder he's our tour champion.
Beautiful golf shot from Elliot Saltman. Now, young discretion, the better part of valour from the fairway. That needs to be good. The short iron and the putter.
Choo-choo. Look at that baby go. Bit of work left on that one, Gary.
It was a pretty good chip, but yeah, it's left a lot to do.
This man, a little bump and run. Get it on the front. Let it release. That wind's just going to hold it up lovely, and that's well judged. That's a lovely chip shot.
You really do have to think about where you're going to miss the green, because if you've got to chip into this in this strength of wind, 30 odd miles an hour the whole time, you really want to be trying to chip back into the wind.
I tell you what, we won't see many of those.
What a great recovery. What a great recovery.
Amazing par on that hard par 3.
Young and O'Neill managing the course, managing the conditions pretty well at the first. Beautiful stuff.
That's a fantastic par. Now the thing is, see, Gary, you know, this hole is playing over half a shot more the first hole. I mean, to make a par on that, it's just, well, it just shows you how difficult it is. And as we see Elliott there, well, look at that. He can't believe it.
Almost as far away as where he started.
It was indeed. And this would be a great for this pair to start off par if he can slot this baby in. Oh, that's fantastic. I tell you what, that won't be beaten.
No, that's fantastic, because we're coming to the last people teeing off, and it's been a 4.5 score on this hole. So.
As indeed, guys.
Saltman then to try and repair the damage, but no. So costly for Elliott Saltman. The par 4 fifth, and after such a fabulous golf shot to this island green, didn't quite work out for the big Scotsman. Elliott Saltman then, 33 years of age now, based himself up in Archerfield Links for many years after turning pro in 2007, and the winner of last year's Tour Championships. Let's hear from the big man.
It's been great. It's a stepping stone I'm trying to use to the European Tour. You know, the standards, you know, you've really got to play well to win, to try and be consistent and compete at that level. I think is more consistency. So it's definitely something I wanted to do, to get onto the Challenge Tour, to get off the EuroPro. Thankfully I did it by winning the 2 trophies, the Order of Merit, which was nice, and using the Challenge Tour as a stepping stone to bigger and better things. It's lovely to see the guys. I mean, I think 2007 I was out here till 2010, left, played a bit of Challenge, got my European Tour card, went away for a couple of years, came back in 2013, had the last, no sorry, 2012, had the last 2 years back out here. So I have spent a fair bit of my career on the EuroPro, met some great people, you know, and you really appreciate how good the standard is out here, and I think I appreciated myself more what I did in El Guna to win the Order of Merit. So it's, yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's only an hour and 20 minutes from home, so I can stay at home. I think the key word around here is patience or acceptance. It's very hard to get ahead of yourself trying to make birdies when all of a sudden you can make a bogey very easily. And it's a course that I've played maybe 3 or 4 times. I played on another golf course, the Lakes it's called. Both great tracks, both very tricky, and as I say, the person who's got the most amount of patience this week I think will come through. So hopefully tomorrow we can just play a bit of acceptance, enjoy it.
I like that. I think most of us think in the wind about being aggressive, and he's saying patience.
Bang on. Now Connor. Now this boy loves a smile, always smiling, every time you see him. Wants to shake your hand, smile, and tell you how lovely the world is. So it'll be nice to see him have a good tournament. Gives a lot back.
He does. Good swing, nice setup.
Has he got the old Gibson guitar logo on his forehead there? Look at that, he's obviously a bit of a rocker at heart, isn't he? Must be.
Well, Sam O'Connor, very popular man on tour, the 23-year-old from Alsager Golf Club. And this man, interesting story for the Scotsman Michael Stewart, very promising midfielder with St Mirren, but chose golf over football. Interesting choice, but seems to be paying off for it.
Longer career.
There'll be a few nutmegs out here with this thing they're doing, so he'll be used to that.
Experienced EuroPro journeyman Mark Lasky, very talented Welshman. And all these guys now deciding that this is the way forward on the first.
I like the way Elliott came across as well, you know, just how, like you said, patience, this game. I mean, he is our tour champion from last year, and you know, and he's enjoying it, being out on the big scene, but yeah, comes back, wanted to play in this event, and Dan was able to get him in, and well, fair play, you know, and he's really relishing it and showing his might again. But he does need a bit more gel on his hair. It looks like it's whipping in the wind a little bit too much.
Poor Elliott, pouring his heart out about his Challenge Tour and European Tour careers, and you're talking about the gel on his hair. It's a tough life. 2011 Walker Cup player Stewart then, with his putt. And in the same Walker Cup, Jordan Spieth represented the USA, so interesting stuff.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. I mean, when it comes to putting, okay, after we see Mark, I'll chat to you about it, but Mark will be aiming at the left side of this green, kind of coming in high and hopefully getting the nice soft banks, but it's not easy. You take this pin on, you're definitely going to go long. And as we can see Mark doing it, probably pitching it bang on in the right place, but there's no way you're going to be able to stop it from there, guys.
Can't stop it with that strength of wind. At no point at all in landing it in the middle of the green.
So we've got Sam Connor, hopefully going to follow suit. We've just seen Mark Lasky's ball just get over the bunker and bounce through. Is he going to do the same? And it's caught the bunker, and I think that's quite a good idea. Catch that one, little splash shot up on the green, or if it's just missed it, just lob it over and let it release down to the hole.
Yeah, there's a chance. Timmis now for his par.
And this is what I was going to say about the putting, though. In these conditions, you've got to dribble it. You've got to see the ball just on its last legs, last roll, just dropping in the hole. You can't be firm, can you? Unless you're obviously straight into the teeth of the wind on a putt. Go.
Yeah, I mean, if the ball's moving at all and it catches the edge of the hole with the wind, it'll, well, it could horse you out further away than you were to start off with.
You'll be pulling your hair out.
Connor then from the sand, as John said, this could be your friend today with some of those approach shots. And into the breeze, he would have liked to have been a little more bold with that.
Young out of the forest. Yeah, lovely shot as well. That needs to slow down. We've seen Elliott from over there. We know that putt wants to get away from you when it gets near the hole. Straight down, win that putt.
As you know, nice little chip and run, got the ball down as quickly as possible, but as you can see, suddenly going back into the wind, it's difficult to make the ball run.
He nearly balled out driver then instead of his putter. I think he probably needed it.
Young then, similar part of the green to that part that we saw earlier, and he's done well to control that. Quite the line he was looking for. The pace was good.
Yeah, every putt's going to be hard. Never easy. And Lasky, this will be a beautiful par in this first hole. What a way to start. Oh, not to be. Just missing on the left-hand side. And he'd be kicking himself because he's at a towering, beautiful second shot into the green. Just roll through, and when you're in a position like that over the back and you've got plenty of green to work with, you definitely fancy your chances, don't you, Gary?
Yeah, normally under still conditions, these guys would be looking for a chip in there, not struggling to get it up and down.
Exactly. Connor, up and out very quickly.
So Lasky and Connor dropping a shot at the first, and back on the first tee, our leaders waiting to go out, including third place man here last year, Neil Fennick. Let's hear from him.
Goals this season are to win the Order of Merit, but ultimately just to finish top 5 and graduate to the Challenge Tour. That's my main goal. This course is pretty demanding off the tee, so you got to hit it well off the tee, which suits my game, and the greens are pretty small, so you've got to have spot on distance control. That's probably the main reasons why it fits my game, fits my eye. Well, I was away with Paul Laurie a couple of times to Portugal. He took a few guys away, and we had a couple of competitive trips, which was fantastic for my game, and just generally working hard with my coach and down at Phil Kenyon on my putting, just really working hard on grinding those scores out and getting ready for this season. It would be massive for me, and it would be a giant step in my career, and a good step forward to graduating to the Challenge Tour.
Well, he's got a good record here at Longhirst as Neil Fennick. 12th in 2013, 3rd last year. And this man also loves a Pro-Am. He's had quite a few wins in the Pro-Am so far in the EuroPro, just not quite converting it to the main draw.
It's just, it's weird when you do that. You get one chance in a Pro-Am, one round, so you go out and just blitz it. When it comes to a tournament like this, you've got 3 rounds and you've got to pace yourself.
He's our leader then into the teeth of this win today. Christopher Evans at -7. I think he's going to need every one of those shots today.
Looks like he's got some local support as well, yes.
It does. I think it's great to see the crowds out braving these conditions, and that was obviously a good one with that applause.
Look at this. Takes a bit of a lag going back. Lets the hands and then the club come in, and then loads of lag coming back into the ball. Pounds it out there.
Yeah, it's, as you say, sort of drags the club away and then sets the wrists and whoosh, delivers the power.
Would you say a bit Monty-like in the way he takes it away there? Just those hands?
There's just a hint of that. I was rather distracted because he wasn't quite the same sort of build as Monty.
Now then, Connor, that's one of the better shots that we've seen into this par 3 third green. Lasky will be hoping to follow a very similar line, trailing the leader by 2 shots.
See Lasky aiming way out to the left, thinking this ball's going to come back, which it does a little bit. When the wind is howling off your left-hand side, sometimes you can just get over the top of it and counteract it, and unfortunately it dips under the wind and goes the other way.
Now can one or both of our last pair crack this first green?
You have to have a nice bounce.
That's carrying on, that's hot. Just a touch too far.
It's just very awkward under these windy conditions. This first green sits at the wrong angle to take the ball. There's almost nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, it's true. And do you know what? That shows you what a great shot that was from Neil, actually. And he's just missing the water on the left-hand side, as we see Lasky just getting caught out like every other man and his dog.
Get fed up not on the green, chipping from a foot off and can't get it on the green. That really tees you off.
Yeah, without question, yes. Look at this one, doing the old Sevy, running out sideways. Look at that. He's hungry for it.
Go on. And again, that's going to come through.
Tell you what, that's a hell of a shot though, Simon, from where he was. That's a great shot. It would have moved the ball a lot in the air.
Yeah, relatively speaking, these are all good shots into the first. You're right. If they can recover from par, that's a good start.
You see Lasky trying to stand up in the wind. Has gone out, slam dunks one, dents the back of the hole and disappears. That's the ones you need. Look at that. There's a big smile for Sammy Connor.
He said Sam likes a smile. That's certainly put a smile on his face. Now let's see what Fenwick can do here from the back of the first. Yeah, good use of the wind, and that's the best effort we've seen from there so far.
Yeah, it was a good shot.
Back to Gavin's then at the 7th. Had success on the 2013 EuroPro Tour, did Daniel Gavins.
That was a lovely chip as well, especially that downwind. He only just got it on the green, it just took it all the way. Look at this, leaning into the wind, it's holding him up. Little bump in, let it release. Oh, and he's played that lovely. That's an absolute beautiful shot.
Exquisite stuff from our leader.
You're going to see some guys now, Gary, with the widest stance over putts you've ever seen.
Well, Lasky's got quite a wide stance anyway, but I've already noticed he's standing as though he's just got off a Shire horse.
Yeah, well, he does like the old gymnastics, so he's pretty used to, you know, the old bars and the everything like that, so he's quite a flexible character.
He's going to need to be today. Remember that watchword earlier from Elliot Saltman, patience. That includes a bit of flexibility out there now. Fenwick does well. Nice stuff from the back of the green from him.
Here comes Daniel Gavins after a chip, a nervy chip, getting on the front of the green, just letting the wind just take it all the way down to the hole. Coming back into the wind. Yes, nice solid up and down.
It's silly little things that you don't quite appreciate when it's as windy as this. A few of these guys will be wearing contact lenses, and as contact lens wearer myself, the wind blowing across lenses, you know, your eyes water, you lose the ball. It's very tough.
I could imagine. What did you say? I can't see you. What was that again?
Bogey from Lasky as he wanders away from the third. Lots of explanations about the wind. And this one, there's still a little bit of work to be done here for Christopher. And he does it very well. So Chris Evans walks away with that -7 still intact from the first green and smiles all round between he and his playing partner Neil Fenwick. That's going to be an interesting pairing for today, and they're going to have to work very hard out there in this final round of the Dawson Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic. But it's Christopher Evans that still has the lead here on the northeast coast at -7. I think we got some drama to come today, but Evans above. Christopher is still the man to beat out there on the course. More to come after the break. Welcome back to Longhirst for event 4 on the EuroPro Tour. It's the final day, the wind is blowing and conditions are very different from the opening 2 rounds. Plenty of challenges out there, not least a testing 5th hole. Johnny Morgan is down there to take a closer look.
Well, here at the 401 yard par 4 5th hole. really is a little diamond, this one. Not much to it, apart from this unbelievable pond on the right-hand side. You know, I've had to flirt with my driver, just missing it on the left-hand side, and it's come to rest smack bang in the middle of this fairway. And I'm actually quite lucky because I was playing a little bit further right, but I blocked it, got away with it. Not a place you want to be, but this was a good drive. Hit it all in a region of about 280 yards. Now, left in with, what can I say, about 125 yards left in to this green, and it's an island green. So this one gives you the weebie-jeebies. Now anyway, out with a wedge. All you want to do really on a hole like this, because the wind is normally off your right and it's howling. So pitching wedges out, nice smooth swing. Just want to keep it without going swimming. Nice little swing there, no hairs and graces, letting it ride on the wind. And I tell you what, take that one.
Yes, John, and we'll take your word for it. Now, some big news coming to us from out there on the course at the second. Our leader was at 7 under at the start of the day, Christopher Evans. Unfortunately, he's double bogeyed, so that takes him back to the chasing pack. Now, Lasky away at the 5th. So you like your island greens, John, but it can be a little bit worrying.
Well, especially closing stages. If you've got to hit a demanding shot in a tricky situation and the pressure's on, yeah, it's probably the one hole you don't want coming your way. As we see Lasky here, as fit as a fiddle as he is, still not able to keep that ball out to the right and drift in and out. Oh, right behind a tree with a tricky shot ahead of him, Gary.
Yeah, it looked very difficult. Depends just how far back he is from that tree. We'll find out in a minute.
Our new leader then, because of events at the second hole, Sam Connor on 6 under, and he too following Lasky there. And just as you said earlier, Gary, any sort of error is going to be exaggerated by this wind.
Yeah, that's a good play. He's gone down the next fairway and he's opened up there. So
yeah, it's definitely that's the perfect line in, especially in these conditions. He's coming back into the wind for a second shot. In a way, slightly off the right. As this man, oh my goodness, has found the hay, and that is thick. Hopefully, the cameraman does him a favour and tells him where that ball is. This is not the shot you want. You're going to have to draw it, which means it's going to ride the wind, which is going to come in hot. You would feel. That's got to slow down.
Oh dear.
Oh no. And that's the trouble. As soon as you ride the wind, and it, you know, when the wind is this strong, just asking for trouble, Gary.
Everything was against him now. He had to draw it on a right to left wind. Green perched up and exposed, and it looked like one or two ripples on the water, whether that was the ball going in or just the wind blowing it. But that shows the difference from when you can get the club on the ball on the fairway, albeit from the wrong fairway. That's good.
Now, things not going very well, I'm afraid, for our former leader, Christopher Evans, with a shocker here.
I think he's taken a drop.
Yes, I think it would be a free drop though, because a lot of the trees are new on this course, and that little bush I'm sure will have had a stake which allows him to take a drop without penalty.
Yeah, that's very fortunate, Gary. But this is going to be a penalty for Lasky in the hazard. You can see he's just shaking his head in disbelief how he actually thought he played a great shot there. And now he's got to go back the other side and play it.
Michael Stewart then, from the fringe with the putter still though.
I think this is the old Texas wedge is going to be used a lot this round, Gary, because these conditions you don't particularly want to chip it when it's like this, do you?
No, and one of the difficulties is these guys are so used with the different wedges to send the ball up in the air. It's not something perhaps they practice as much, so have they got the confidence to do it? Time will tell.
It will, as Lasky goes back to the drop zone and plays in a shot. Hitting it to the front and letting it release, but that wind just pushing it further and further left, and that's only just come to rest. That took a while.
Stewart for par then to stay at 3 under. That'll do. Well, that's a bit of a spring in the young Scotsman's step.
It's because there's 10 grand on the line, Simon.
Gone up, nice wide stance, keep his balance. Gave it a good try, but look again, the wind's not sure it's still stopped.
What was one of the most windiest conditions you've ever played in, Gary?
You must have had a few, right?
I've had a few. I spent most of my career by the seaside at Trevose, and I remember one day going out by myself. It was almost a hurricane, and the first at Trevose is 420 yards. It took me a drive and 7 1-irons to reach the green.
Oh, classic.
And they were all quite good hits.
Were they? Oh my goodness.
Now Lasky, nothing good I'm afraid about this hole, so finally rolls it in, but it's a double bogey I'm afraid for the Welshman.
See, he's cheesed off. I have better days on many a hole. Not to be this one. Very, very tricky though. Connor to save his par.
It's great to see Sam Connor playing so well at the moment. Had some serious back issues a few years ago, but he's worked really hard in the gym to recover from those, and looks very fit and strong out there today.
I would say though, I was just seeing Sam, he's got a caddy with him. That's going to be a big advantage around a track like this in these conditions, Gary.
Any time that the conditions are against you, rain particularly if you've got a good caddy, but even in the wind, just because it's just so tiring battling with the wind and everything else. So anybody to take any of the pressure away is a big help.
Yeah, he's got Dave Chambers on his bag today. Sam, doing a sterling job is Dave.
Really holding that one up into the wind, trying to anyway. You could see that, trying to fade it. Not easy at all. Whew. Rather them than me, Gary.
Yeah, much happier I am in our relatively warm commentary position.
Yeah.
It's too right, too right. Happy to be here today. Evans rolls that in for a 4, so just the one shot dropped. Could have been worse for him, third. He's dropped 3 shots over the space of the first 3 holes. Nicely done from Sam Connor at the 6th.
Fenwick. Not much to do, but in these conditions, these are going to be trying times. Needs to be positive. And very nicely done. Yeah, just keep parring them, keep your head down.
Well, he's got to keep his head down here, Connor, but unfortunately, not for a par, for a bogey. As John said, these are not easy. Well done, rolls it in. It means that once again, we've got movement on our leaderboard. We expected that that was going to be the case in these breezy conditions for the final round, but now Connor and Fenwick have a share of the lead at 5 under at the top of the board. Evans on his own in 3rd, but a really good group chasing, so still 8 players under par. I wonder how many will finish the day in that position.
You've got to take half to Craig Fairley. I mean, he's level par through 11 holes. That's some seriously good golf.
Yeah, that's a good call actually, John. Craig Farrelly, the 42-year-old, playing some really good golf this year on the EuroPro, and he's putting together an excellent final round. But spare a thought for this man, Christopher Evans. Not the best start. Has dropped from 7 under to 4 under. Got to recover the situation now.
Michael Stewart's 3rd shot. And there we saw it up into the air, into the wind. Lovely contact, but too much spin. Stopped the ball stone dead.
How would you have played that, Gary? Would you have got like the little 7-iron out, a little bump and run, pitch it like 10 foot short and scuttle it up?
Yeah, I think, personally, I think it would have probably been an 8-iron, just a little bit back in the stance and almost a long putting type stroke to get it moving forward and running.
Definitely. I mean, that just shows you how hard this is. I mean, he would have thought he's pitched that in the perfect place and still run off the green, off the back of the green. Unbelievable. Now, stability. Keep your head down, punch it forward. Not to be.
Oh, wait.
Not to be.
That was Stewart at 8. I can tell you he tapped in for a bogey. And Fenwick with a bit of woodwork in front of him.
Yes, indeed. I mean, this is. You're going to see this a lot, though. Going to be many shots in weird places because this wind is just grabbing the ball and just doing what it wants with it.
Well, here's the man of the moment, as John said, putting together a quite fabulous round. He's Craig Farrelly. If we can keep this going, he's been in the mix for the last couple of weeks. Interesting from the tee.
Well, Gary, we just looked at one another. That looked like a great ball flight, didn't it?
That looked like the first player who really has got experience. Something for the old. He's 42 and he knows how to play in the wind.
And no wonder he's kicking some butt out on the golf course.
That's unlucky from Evans. So misses his birdie opportunity, but went on to tap in for par. Farrelly, after a very clever tee shot, follows it up with an absolute beaut. What rewards!
Look at him. He just knows he's just got one there. He's grabbed it. Oh, you know, that's a big Barry bonus, that one, guys.
That really is. Absolute smile from ear to ear, and so he should be smiling. That was fantastic.
Let's put a smile on our face as well here in the commentary booth, because this is going to be a pretty grim day for these guys today. So that's going to stand out like a shining beacon.
I don't think we'll get to see many of that, you know, over the closing stages. We might see the winner, whoever comes out of it, hold a nice gobbler to win it or go crazy. But we're not going to see big putts hold, especially in these conditions. Not easy at all. You know, what would be a 6-inch, you know, to the right of the hole? If it's a crosswind, you probably want to be aiming it 12 inches right of the hole and thinking the wind's going to take it. Or if the wind was coming the other way, just go straight at it.
Yeah, trying to calculate that. You know, there's none of these wonderful gadgets and gizmos. It's make you guess and have a go at it.
That was a Tiger Woods stinger finish there. Caught the way through the swing. Doing it off. Look at that flag.
Whew. Look at what he's facing. He's coming over the bunker straight down with no green.
Yeah, I think I'd close my eyes and hope for the best on that one, Gary.
Yeah, there is almost nothing else to do than chuckle. And I think that's the way the guys will have to approach it out there today, and just take your chances when they come.
Whoa, whoa, ball.
So Stewart trying to get it back into some sort of semblance of order. Things not going well for Fenwick. He's dropped a few shots. We've seen what's happened to Evans already, and these scores are tumbling. And at the moment, 5 under, 6 under looks fantastic.
I think Gary's going to be right. It's going to be close to 75 or 76. Might end up just doing good enough to win it on this final day. I mean, look at that. Go on, Sam, you better start running and mark it before it blows a bit more.
The shot that you were talking about, Gary.
Well, this is, I don't know how you get it anywhere near. Look at the flag.
He knows that this is going to land and release, and you got to say that is dead hands, great technique, taking this, you know, making the spin just like dead, isn't it, really?
Absolute genius from Christopher Evans at 6. Connor then, up the slope, our leader.
Just missing. Oh, there's Mark Lasky doing the old aim pointer. Do you know much about that, Gary?
Yeah, a little bit. I've got a couple of players who use the aim point, use your fingers and get help from them. So,
that's what works. You see this one. Can he make the great up and down? No, he can. Oh, what a Larry lip out that was. It's not what you want to be doing.
What a shame for Christopher Evans, getting a right horseshoeing in the end at 6 after that brilliant recovery, and the scores being blown about all over the place at the moment. Sam Connor clinging on to the lead at 5 under. Lasky all on his own in second at 4 under, but things pretty tight after that. Now then, this is the 6th staging of the EuroPro Tour event here in Longhirst, and after the break we'll take a look at previous winners here on the northeast coast and work out the key to walking away with the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic title.
Welcome back to the HotelPlanner.com PGA EuroPro Tour. This is the 6th event held at Longhirst Hall, so let's take a look back at some of the previous winners here in Northumberland.
Fantastic stuff. I wonder who will be the next name to be written into the history books here at Longhirst. And on the course, conditions, as we've already established, very, very difficult, and that isn't going to change right through this final round. So it's who's going to cope best. Stuart then, with his tee shot at the par 3 12th.
This one will be playing difficult. Anything with a long iron in your hand with all this swirly wind, not going to be easy to find a putting surface, and that is a long way off.
Even the Scotsmen are struggling to cope with it, John.
My goodness. Yeah, definitely if they're struggling, you know everyone else is going to struggle. You see Lasky, strong as an ox. Oh, playing a nice little low bump with a 3, but you can see that ball just being picked up by the wind. And that's way right. Hopefully for him, that's not got one of those leaning against the real thick rough. And that's a very difficult shot.
Our leader then by 1 shot, leading over the man that he's playing alongside today, Sam Connor, ahead of Mark Lasky. And trying to shape this one in and hold it up. It's working okay.
Evans on the tee at the 7th. Needs a nice drive. Plays long today. This hole looked like he come out of that very quick.
Yeah, his right shoulder looked up a bit early.
Well, I tell you what, it was playing long, but because of this wind, it is just not stopping. Run, Forrest, run.
Unbelievable. He's larruped that. But at last, a positive for Evans.
Lasky may have just got lucky here, just missed that long hay. And a good touch. He'll be pleased with that.
Very nice indeed. Nicely done. This is a whole different ball game. Now this has got to pitch it in the bank, little hop up, kill it a little bit, and then release to the hole if he can. Oh, and it's just come out a bit hot. Could have done with whacking the flag in the middle. That would have been a get out of jail free card, but instead now coming back with a 25-footer up the hill into wind. Ugh.
There's problems for Michael Stewart.
Good effort.
Yeah, well judged from Connor.
Yes, and I tell you, he went on to take a par, which is gold dust out there today.
Stewart, James Fraser looking really cool in his shades, looking on, going up the hill, not the B, lagged it straight in the jaws.
Just really sort of
did he ground his club? The wind's blowing. That was a close call. He nearly ground his putter there.
Gary's our rules official in the booth, and we always look across to you, don't we? Glance across nervously in these situations.
That's true, and of course with the rule change that the wind now, which obviously isn't an outside agency, if it's obvious on a day like today that the ball's moved, calls by the wind, there's no penalty.
Aha, there we go.
Thank you very much for
well, this one, Simon, gone 406 yards.
Wow.
I mean, unbelievable. He's just rode the wind and it's just kept going and going. And this putt for an eagle. What an eagle. Now that puts the cat in amongst the pigeons.
What a turnaround. Well, Christopher Evans, we said it was going to be a roller coaster out there today, but he's the man that's ridden it. My goodness me. And look at that. He's back to a share of the lead with Sam Connor at 5 under. Lasky in 3rd, Timmerson Fenwick after that in a tie for 4th, and my goodness me, the scores being eroded left, right and centre, just 5 men under par. Now Johnny Morgan is at the 10th.
Well, at 317 yards, as the crow flies, this is the 10th hole, par 4. Now, a couple of ways you could play this. Water on the right, water on the left from start to finish. Green, very acceptable with the wind that you get from right to left and a slightly down, which is the prevailing wind 9 times out of 10. Get out a little iron, play down the left-hand side, wedge it on, gives you a good chance for a birdie putt and a definite par. Or, if you're under the cosh, you need to make a big score on the back 9 to get back up that leaderboard, you might just think about driver. I'm giving it a crack. To carry this water on the right-hand side is about 230, 240, 250 to carry. Now, here we go. Anything right will do you, but there is out of bounds on the right hand side if you just push it that little bit too much. Here we go. It's up in the air, it's flying. Little bit of curve to it. It'll be safe. Chipping across the green, not a bad play. Now a little chip, thought I might as well give it a go. Gonna bump it into the bank, let it pop up and hopefully release down to the hole. Never easy though, in these conditions. Little pop it up, one little bounce, hops onto the green, going a little bit fast, running past the hole. Yeah, a bit of a 20-footer coming back, not my best effort in the world. But anyways, I bring you up onto this green. You're coming into a very, very narrow entrance, and it's very, very long as well. I mean, the boys, if they do get driver out, it's a very small target to aim to. If I was a betting man, and it was a wise move, get your iron out, play safe short, whack the wedge on the green, because look what's around here. Loads and loads of trouble, and you don't want to go in it. It's a good hole.
Yeah, it's a good hole and a good course, and it's a course that we've been fortunate enough to watch grow over the years on the EuroPro Tour.
Sam was risking the Warthog, just missing a water on the right hand side, playing a nice little shot there. Beautifully done. Not easy to get it close as pin then, so you can see it's just still rolling away.
Very tough pin today, just on the front of that green with the wind blowing across. Good shot.
Tim is with his fourth shot, obviously out of position. Early doors off the tee. Now to here, coming out a slight bit of rough, and you can see as that ball's coming to rest at the last bit of its ball flight. There's that wind just causing havoc, sending it away from the hole even further. That's going to be a tough two-putt from there.
Interesting day at the races for this man. He was in the lead, then he was out of luck, and now he's back in to a share of the lead at 5 under. Evans working hard out there.
Good shot there, held it up in the wind, got it pin high. Good effort.
Yeah, definitely, Gary. Very nicely done. If you can ever find the dance floor on this golf course in this wind, it's hell of a feat. Now, up the hill into, and he hit 7 bells out of that, and it still didn't get to the hole, Gary. Just shows you just, this has unfortunately become a little bit more luck than judgment in a way when it's conditions like this.
It is. I think it's probably a good thing they left a millimetre or two extra on the greens just to slow them down, otherwise we may not be playing at all.
So yeah, expertise of the PGA there, seeing that it was going to be windy, said to the greenkeepers, don't cut them in the morning, leave them long.
Well, saw Mark Lasky just a moment ago, unfortunately having to take another drop, second one of his round today. Evans though, tidily done by Evans, and after that dramatic change at the 7th, looking now just to get things calmed down.
And, like the strides as well, very old school, Gary.
Yeah, they've made a come. I've had a few pairs like that, but I think they were a sort of 30 waist. I don't think I'd get into them anymore, unfortunately.
Well, here we go. This is a bit of flair. Don't worry, guys. We'll go through it, don't we? But anyway, Lasky, improvisation. Doing well, finding the putting surface. Gavins.
Well, gone back to level. There's Gavins, already in trouble at this hole. It's not getting any better, I'm afraid. It's unlucky 13.
Just a complete misjudgment of the wind.
This one's a big swing from left to right. This one's going to be wanting to help it go. Plus the green slopes that way as well. Right at the last minute, going to come in sideways. Ooh, just fraction short. That would have been in. I think that was tracking.
Tap in to stay at 5 under. Real dramas out there for Connor today.
Nice little, just get it just onto the green and let it release. It's pitched it just fractionally short. Oh, and that's brilliant. Get in. Oh, oh, come on. Come on.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough for Gavins.
He couldn't have played that any better there, Gary.
He couldn't. It's going from bad to worse for him on that hole.
Lasky then. Bogey. To be. So it's position will move again on the scoreboard, I suspect. Tap in for the Welshman, but not a lot to smile about over the last few holes for Mark Lasky.
We see Pirelli way down the left with his tee shot. I'm going to come out of no man's land now, thread it through the gap. Oh, and caught the trees, powered it through it. Got away with that one, Gary. That could have gone anywhere.
Could, and it's amazing how a tiny, tiny twig very often will deflect the ball enormously. So you can be quite relieved with that.
Yeah, without question. Scabbins is going for a 7. Can he salvage a 7? Oh, no, he can't. And that's going to be disappointing. This, unfortunately, after such a great chip, and he knows it.
Yeah, that is really going to hurt, and this will hurt Michael Stewart as well.
It's quite a nice line. He's dropped it in. Referee just making sure there, Gary.
Yeah, just making sure that the ball hadn't gone back closer towards the target.
Now, Craig has an opportunity over these last 2 holes to post a clubhouse score that could be competitive, and then he can sit down, have a cup of tea and watch everyone else struggle.
Oh, without doubt, you want to get in that clubhouse, and if you're under par, you know, tournament under par, well, you got a great chance, because we're going to see every man and his dog just drop shots around here. As we just see the shot, great improvisation, wrapping the hands over, getting a big bend on it, massive draw, but it turns into a humongous hook, and is now way left of the green in thick Bondi. Whoops-a-daisy.
Connor, second shot, par 3.
Oof.
That was a fine effort. Should have got secure in his par.
It will indeed, Gather. It's easy for you to say, mate.
That wasn't that easy.
No, look at this one. Club head way open, got to come in steep, pump this baby out. Well, he has indeed. That's come out really hot, and that's a very good shot from where he was. Just helped with that wind being right into his face, could be really aggressive. Didn't have to be too fragile. No. Really, can he get this one in? This is going to be a nice putt if he gets this one. It's going to break late as it comes down the hill. Oh, just didn't hit it. Super read there. But tap in. Bogey. So not quite what he was after. 18 to play. Back to Stewart.
Can he salvage his par?
Come on. Oh yes. Oh yes, he can.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle. That was perfect. Dead weight. Never getting any further past the hole. Beautiful putt.
Connor now. What would normally be relatively simple, but in this wind, anything can happen. But right result, bottom of the cup.
So Connor and Evans remain in a tie at the top of the leaderboard at 5 under. They're the only 2 men actually under the scorecard at the moment. Tim is Stewart and Fenwick chasing. How good can Farrelly be by the time he gets back to the clubhouse? Now, former England cricketer Steve Harmison has backed the development of Longhirst and also the partnership with the EuroPro Tour.
They've gone from a course which was a little bit wide open, 18 holes, and Tommy and Graham have turned this place into a fantastic little golf and little dream, really. The 2 courses are excellent, and I think the professionals will see they've played on both courses over the last 5 years. The driving range finishes the place off when it comes to golf in terms. For me, I think it's great that the EuroPro Tour exists. It's a stepping stone into the Challenge Tour, which gets you into the big time, and for young players to come and challenge themselves in a competition. And with the TV cameras here and exposure on TV, it's a little added pressure in that, and that's what will hopefully stand them in good stead once they move out the EuroPro Tour onto the Challenge Tour and then onto the main tour. So I think it's important that that tour it still goes. It's important that golf clubs like Longhirst it does help both ways. It helps the players, but it helps the golf club establish themselves and get recognised. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Connor and Evans out there shooting the breeze as they head into the back nine. See how they fare after the break.
Things are hotting up here at Longhirst in a wind-affected final round, so let's rejoin our commentators for more of the action.
Thank you, Sian. Yes, time to get back into what has been a thoroughly enjoyable final round. I don't know what it is, but it's been entertaining. It's not easy out there.
Oh, it's exciting, and it's great to see these guys, particularly the younger players, coping with such difficult conditions. A lot of fun.
So, joint leaders, Evans and Connor on 5 under. They are the only two men at the moment under par out there on the course.
God, did you see that? It must have bent about 40, 50 yards in the air, and it's still going out onto the path, which I'm sure, oh, you'll have to have a little look at the local rules to see if he gets a drop off of that baby.
Pirelli, the man that can establish the number back in the clubhouse. It's looking like it's going to be over par, and they seem to chip this in. You could try.
That's a great effort. I must admit, I've been very, very impressed, because all the shots that we've seen in play today, he's controlled the ball. He's the one player who's kept it under the wind. He deserves the score he's got.
Definitely, Gary. Couldn't agree with you more, right? Now, Mr. Evans, pop this baby up. This is going to be into the wind. He played it nice and low, and that's a great result. Let's just see what wind's going to do with that. Is it going to blow it? Yeah, it's still blowing it. A couple of extra inches further away from the hole than it would have been. Very well executed. Now Pirelli, now this is what you want. What a way to finish if this one went in. Slightly off the left. Wind's helping it from left to right. Oh, and it just didn't move. Hit it through the break.
So Pirelli not home yet. Time to get back out to the course with Johnny Morgan. He's at the 13th.
Now this could be the unlucky 13th hole for you. Par 5, 544 yards. Now, when it comes to this hole, the hardest part about it is the drive. Very, very narrow landing space for the boys. With no more than about 250 yards to go, get the 3-wood out, you're going to bunt it up the right hand side and try and scoot it up onto the green. 2 bunkers though on the left to gather your ball just in case you pull it, and thick rough left and right as well. If you go long, there's a bank there to hold it. You might be able to feed back onto the green. But the wind is always strong around this track, and this makes this hole very, very tough. Now at the right edge of the green, bit of a whippy shaft in hand, let's give it a go. It's out there, it's drawing on the wind. It might get to front edge if I'm lucky. Well, this is where I finished up after my approach shot, just 20 feet shy of this green. Pretty much the ideal place you want to be after 2 shots, if not obviously on the green, so you get a putt for an eagle. But as you look down, I've got 20 feet left to go, pin at the front. You know, in linksy conditions, when I say wind, the grass is, you know, the ground is firm, the greens are firm. The chip and run shot is a big, big shot in your armoury if you can play it. Now, with this one, back of the stance, got the 8-iron out, hands well forward, play it pretty much like a putt, and just get the ball running up onto the green. As it goes up there, getting nice and cozy next to that pin, good chances of birdie. You know, these boys, after a dangerous drive, any chances for a birdie on this hole, big thumbs up.
So Connor's second shot on this 13th, such a difficult tee shot, as John told us, very, very narrow. Got a good contact there with the 3-wood, staring it down.
Tell you what, that's not a bad position there, Gary. He'll be taking that when he gets up there. Not an easy green to hit, especially in these conditions. Like saying, the wind's got up since I was there.
So par for Craig Farrelly. It's into the clubhouse at +2, which under normal circumstances wouldn't be much to write home about, John, but he'll be pretty happy with that today.
Oh, he will indeed. I mean, as we can see there, the start was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, those 2 blips at the end of the 9, but fought back hard, getting another 2 birdies, and then that 4 straight bogey run, unfortunately, just kind of brought it to an end. And I mean, if he could have levelled it out there, well, we could have been looking at the winner. We still might, you never know.
Yeah, that's our clubhouse leader at +2. Connor trying to make the most of that really excellent shot to the front of the screen.
left himself an uphill putt into the wind there, so chances.
Sprinting up to mark his ball. Good thinking. Now Timmis could take over in top spot from Farrelly.
Just needs to lob this one up nicely, land it soft. With this downwind you can't really do that, you got to let it do it for you, and he's done it very, very well, and that's a good chance. And Lasky missed his first putt. He's looking at it. Oh,
it's
look
off.
at this, look
It's
at this,
off to
look
the
at this.
races.
Oh no, oh no. Stay there, ball, stay there. Oh my goodness.
Dear.
Well, Gary, I think I seen the club head ground behind the ball, but like you said, if it's too extreme, there's no penalty. Is that right?
No, that's right. If it's obvious on a day like today that without this strength of wind, without certainty, then there would be a penalty. But from there, it's obvious that the wind's blown it away. So the ball's in play, and he'll play his next shot from there.
Unlucky. I mean, that's what you call it's against you. Oh,
yeah, that is scant consolation, I'm afraid, for Lasky.
I feel sorry for him, but as we see this putt just drifting on the wind, still a bit more work to be done. And you can see Lasky's just not happy. He's just there going, I just putted it up to here. He's thinking, well, it's going to happen again. You know, is anyone that could go up there and quickly mark it? Got a nice spring in his step, and is pretty rapid off the word blocks. He can probably get up there and mark it quick enough before it rolls away. As we see, Tim is just,
that is such a shame. What an untidy finish for Jason.
I fancy his chances over the first putt, and well, he's walked away with 3 putting it. That's a shock to the armoury.
Let's take a look at the card. It is the clubhouse lead at +1, but again, that could have been better.
Yeah, horrible way to finish. 3 putting from 6 or 7 feet.
So Lasky, what are we looking at here? Putt and run?
Guaranteed, he's going to be running after this. If he doesn't, he should be. Come on, get up there. Mark, run, Forrest, run. Mark that ball. We'll tap it in. He's just going at his own pace, which surprises me.
Brave boy.
If the ball started to run and he quickly went and putted it and the ball was moving while he's putted it and it's gone in the hole, what would be the rule, Gary?
Well, that's a penalty as well, because you can't play a ball in motion.
Exactly, so, but then the ball's finished, so he'd have been worthy of him actually hitting that ball then when it was moving and try and holding it.
Yeah, I think under those he'd have had to have put it back on the lip of the hole.
Exactly.
And Connor in the same situation here, and again, just thinking quite clearly there, Sam Connor, confirming exactly what he's able to do here.
The thing is, most people do, they actually compress the ball a little bit into the ground just to make sure it's not going to move on them. Is that right, Gary?
Well, they do, but they shouldn't. Because that, again, is against the rules.
Exactly. Hey man, me and you are having a ball today, Gary.
God dear.
You're taking me to the cleaners, I'm trying to take you to the cleaners. It ain't working.
Overtime on the rules committee here on the EuroPro Tour. Now Evans at 13. What a seesaw day he's had.
Yes indeed, this is a towering shot coming in from right to left, right in the wind. And that's got to calm down. That's got to calm down, and unfortunately into the hazard it goes. And you got to feel for these guys. I mean, that would have looked great at the top of its ball flight, Gary.
Yeah, it would, once the wind's got it, a little bit of draw, hard fairway, but gone.
We'll be hoping this one will be gone. Is it going to go?
No, just left him a little. I wouldn't like that one. Downhill, right to left, wind blowing off the right. After a drop, Evans out with a 3-wood.
We saw Connor hit a decent one here, but that is anything but. And yeah, you've got so many things going on today. It sometimes happens.
Yeah, trying to keep the ball down, just got too much in front of it and scuttled it all the way along the ground.
Splash and a half for Evans, I'm afraid, at 13. Oh, well, that nearly did come back in the end for Connor.
Yeah, this is the putt. You don't want to be leaving yourself in these conditions, Simon. And Gary, I mean, you know, when it's that windy, as we just seen Evans, it just blows you off balance and you end up kind of lunging at your shot, catching it, you know, thin or topping it, and well, as a result, Seeing it just go in a drink, and looking at this one, oh my goodness, that's coming sideways. That's coming at 90 degrees.
Yeah, another banana. Let's take a look at 15 though. Hope there's no banana skins here, Gary.
No, tough hole 15, dogleg to the right, 440 yards, bunker on the right corner, which these guys should just be able to get past, and then you turn sort of a quarter right to down through a little hollow and up to probably the smallest green on this golf course. But the green perched up like this, it's going to be difficult to hold in this wind, even into the front right bunker. Maybe okay.
Top man, Gaz.
Connor for a bash at that then.
Oh, look at this. Now, what a beautiful shot by Sam Connor. It really, really is. Tight pin position on the right-hand side, wind blowing a hoolie off the right-hand side, and he's able to get it within about 10 feet. I mean, what a miraculous shot.
Well, we might be watching the turning point of the tournament right here, because Evans in trouble at 13 and Connor well placed. That's a super effort from Evans, but we've seen it blow back before. It may go again.
This might do a Lasky and go off the green. You never know. Connor, you got to fancy his chances here after such a great shot. Can he finish it off in style? Oh, not meant to be. That's back-to-back little shorties he's missed, Gary.
Yeah, I think he struck the ball pretty well, but again, it comes down to the conditions, and you begin to distrust what you're reading.
Well, a massive chance for a big swing in this tournament. It's not going to be quite as dramatic as we thought, but a little tickle, a horrible little tickle from Evans, just gave it no chance whatsoever. But you do feel for the guys out there at the moment. Now, the recent Irish Open at the Royal County Down Club had weather to match Longhirst and proved another testing encounter, but it also provided proof that the EuroPro Tour graduates can compete at the highest level on the European Tour. Two players featured prominently, Tyrrell Hatton and Eddie Pepperell. While McIlroy, the world #1, missed the cut, our two EuroPro Tour boys did the business. Eddie Pepperell's stay on the EuroPro was brief but impressive. After coming through Q School in 2012, he progressed to the Challenge Tour, winning in France. In 2015, though, he made his mark in the recent Irish Open with an impressive final round of 69 to force a playoff. He eventually finished second best to the winner Soren Kjeldsen, but it was a ringing endorsement for ex-EuroPro Tour player Pepperell. The good news didn't stop there either. Tyrrell Hatton also featuring. After winning the EuroPro Rookie of the Year in 2012, Hatton progressed to the Challenge Tour for 2013, gaining his full European Tour card the following season. Certainly a player to watch in the Irish Open, and he was just one agonising shot off the playoff. Both men proving the value of the EuroPro as the world's leading development tour. Well, back to the action, but good to see some familiar faces at the Irish Open, boys.
It is amazing, actually, and it just shows you what you can breed yourself into when you start, you know, here on the EuroPro, and what it can escalate to. Well, what a fantastic windy track Ireland was. Now we're at another extremely windy track, Longhirst. As we see, a beautiful shot just riding on the wind below the cup. Himself a 15-footer. Now Sam Connor on 17 with the big dog.
Demand over these closing holes, but we've already established if you can stay under par, you're in with a big shout. Now let's take a look at this swing.
He's got a great setup, Connor. Lovely wide takeaway, beautiful balance. Club goes up and down on plane, and great extension through the ball. Lovely action to copy.
You repeat that 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be too bad. As you see this putt, is it going to come back?
Wanted it to.
And I think he thought it was going to as well, though, Simon. It was just, it was amazing how that stayed out there. That wind is really howling towards the hole. Be taking this one, right on that left side, pumping that in from 6 inches.
Right then, this is what's ahead. 17 from the air.
Well, 17 is an interesting hole, especially with the wind today. You know, it's uphill, the drive, try and get it on this plateau. This water that we see right now is not in play for the boys. They'll be taking on this bunker on the left-hand side and not too much problems, aiming up the right-hand side. But this is what it leads to. A green that is very, very tricky, very undulating. And a big runoff on the left, a big deep bunker on the right-hand side really causes havoc for these boys, especially with the windy conditions. We're going to see some kamikaze shots needing to be played into this hole.
Pretty even either side of the 200 or so pars, with 60 or so birdies and bogeys each side. Connor will be wanting, well, par or birdie. He doesn't want to drop a shot now. As we've said before, sand might just be your friend on occasions today with those approaches.
The trick is with sand, you can get a lot of spin out of it. So that's the Barry bonus of it, or you can control the ball a lot better. As we see Evans just pummeling this one, and that is just running and running like a scolded cat and just ain't gonna stop. It's got a country mile, that is.
Unbelievable. Not the first time he's done it today either.
No, he's certainly moved one or two out there. Connor now from the sand, third shot. And there was the great example, as John was saying, how much spin. Bit too much, John.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right there, Gary. Not easy when it's into wind. The sand comes straight up into your face, and you've got a mouth full of it as well. Anyway, as we see Evans just bumping this one onto the front, and that's a very clever move. Not taking on that flag, knows it's dangerous. Playing to the heart of the green. Very, very well judged.
Evans certainly not out of it. Connor desperately needs this one. But another one goes begging.
You can see why that was difficult though, because it was always going to move right to left, the wind coming the other way. Just so difficult to get the calculations right.
Evans after a lovely second shot in. Good drive, good second. Can he finish it off in style? Can he get it to the hole? That's the thing. Oh, not many people able to do it. 2 minutes into wind. Oh, wrapped up warm as well. Got the layers on. Not easy to swing the club.
Now, par 3 16th, 198 yards. Very exposed around this green. Wind will be really swirling round. Big deep bunker at the first, run off all the way round. Sort of kidney shaped green, as you can see, sitting at a slight angle to the players. All they'll be looking for is try and find the green and move out with the par.
Definitely right, Gary. You can see Evans is down there somewhere. And he's hoiked it left, and here it goes, pops up, running out towards the pin, and that's not a bad effort from where he was, Gary. Whoa.
That was a fine effort because he couldn't see anything from down there.
There we go. That's the thing that we'll be seeing. Well, we've seen all day, marking it, making sure the ball isn't going to get blown off the green like Lasky's did earlier. As Connor taps it in, very nicely done.
Yes, but still, unfortunately for Sam, a bogey. So it is really tight at the top of the leaderboard, and Evans needs this one to retain what would be a share of the lead. Nicely done, very nicely done by Evans on a dangerous hole. So let's take a look at what that means to the scoreboard. Connor and Evans remain locked at the top of this leaderboard. It's -1 as they head into the closing stages. And this is going to be a dramatic and interesting finish to the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic. Time now, though, for last week's winner, Darren Wright, to pick our third hole on the Fantasy Golf Course for 2015.
My name's Darren Wright, winner of the Kerry London Championship last week at Burr Hill. The third hole on the EuroPro Fantasy Golf Course is the 18th at Burr Hill on the new course. I've chosen the 18th at Burr Hill as it's a great finishing hole, a lovely par 3, great way to finish the championship.
It's a head-to-head shootout for the big money after the break as Evans and Connor go for the win. Welcome back to the Dawson and Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic for concluding action from the final round. It's +1 leading in the clubhouse at the moment with Jason Timmis, but Sam Connor and Chris Evans on 1 under the card in a head-to-head shootout for the title. So Evans at 17, who's it going to be, gents?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would have to go Connor only for the fact he's already played 17. It's a bit of a bailout. What do you think, guys?
Well, 18 could prove a turning point as well.
Yeah, it is a tough hole. I mean, Fenwick, unfortunately, just, well, a day definitely to forget. But the guy is a class player. We'll be seeing a lot more of this boy.
Yeah, the Scotsman Fenwick away at 17. Talking of 18, I think it's time to have a little look at this one, John.
Yeah, well, let's have a good little butchers. This hole starts off, you know, nice little tee box sucked back into the lake there. And as you come forward, you're going to see these this massive bunker on the right-hand side, which the boys have been wanting to take on with their driver, wind permitting though, obviously. And that's going to leave you in the region of about 150, 160 yards into a very, very narrow green with a slope, a tier in the middle of it as well. And if you go long, you're dead. Anything short and to the left, grabbing that bunker will give you a nice little kind of what you would think a simple up and down to save your par.
Yeah, it's been the backdrop to some fabulous playoffs over the years here at Longhirst. Think back to the Stuart Archibald win a few years back. They went round 5 or 6 times, I think, in that one. Oh, look at this from Connor. And he might just have negotiated his way through a very tricky test.
Well, I think that is an absolute bonus, and if he can roll that in, that could be worth much gold.
Definitely championing, and this man needs to conjure up some magic after seeing Sam Connor right snug as a bug in a rug next to the pin on 18.
It's not bad from Evans, you know, not bad.
Not bad at all, but it needs something to happen. Fenwick coming out of the hay on the right. Gonna dig this one out a little bit steeper, get less grass in between ball and club head. Oh, and he's holding it off. Is this gonna find a putting surface?
Beautiful. Very, very good shot from the Scotsman. Now Lasky, he was up there at one point during the day, but like a lot of players, I'm afraid the score has just tumbled. A very tidy shot in from Mark.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. It'd be nice as well, you know, the guys will be going in the clubhouse afterwards, catching up with Graham Chambers, who's a good fella at the track, and Lisa works behind the bar. She always puts some big smile on your face and feeds you well as well. So, yeah, they'll be getting in there after a hard day at the office.
Yes, Lisa will be making cups of tea over time, I think, just to warm the boys up. And from Evan's point of view, that is not what he wanted, Gary.
No, you know, he was hoping for a little more there, but still chance. Tap that little one in and move on.
No, Sam, big putt.
Oh, yes.
Gets it, nice little fist pump. You might think that sealed the deal. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be delighted with that. He knows that he's posted a score. You know, 76 doesn't look like much of a score, but to finish with that 3, that's great. And, you know, 4 over is like a level par round out there in these conditions.
Without question. Unbelievable, Gary. I mean, this one, we've seen this putt earlier. It does swing a little bit from right to left. You can see that wind just playing havoc, like a little wobble as it comes up towards the hole.
Let's finish.
I was saying, day for nil to forget, but he goes to the 18th, hopefully in search of a birdie.
His playing partner, Evans, now desperate for his par. So what we just saw from Connor at 18, that fabulous birdie takes him to -2 in the clubhouse. That's the lead, and Evans desperately needs this. Oh, and he's got it. It's still alive.
Yeah, that was good. As you could see, there was a lot of break on that, and he kept his nerve well. Gives him a chance down 18.
Yeah, being downwind, they can get pretty close as Lasky knocks this one in, and that's back-to-back birdies for both players on 18.
Let's look at where it all went wrong, though, John.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Mark, he was getting disheartened with the wind. You know, it was causing havoc with his ball flight. And as you can see, I mean, just a load of double bogeys chucked in there, as well as a load of bogeys. Definitely a round to forget, but, you know, plenty more golf to be played through the season.
Biggest shot then of Christopher Evans' season. The tee shot at 18 has to be in play, and he's not happy.
That's hogging the left. I think that's going in one place and one place only, and that is a couple of trees on the left-hand side. Can't quite see it. I'm just going by his demeanour where that ball's gone.
Yeah, teeth were really gritty, just hoping for some sort of line there.
Fenwick then to send his tee shot away at 18. Scotsman looking to be on the fairway and looks a lot happier than Evans after that shot. So good effort from Fenwick. He's in play. I can tell you we're going to head back now to the back of the 18th green, where our new leader Sam Connor is with shot.
Well, Sam, a great round there in testing conditions. Talk me through today.
Oh, well, I don't really know what I can say, to be honest. I mean, you make the best decisions you can and commit to it, you know, that's all you can do. There's, you know, they say you can only control yourself, you can't control anything else, and that was more evident than any time than any other today, you know. I mean, you'd hit a shot and it could go anywhere, really. It was borderline playable, to be honest, the back nine. I mean, the balls were moving on greens, and my playing partner Mark had one that was unbelievable, you know, but I'm pretty happy with how I performed in that, you know, in those conditions, you know, kept myself going, and yeah.
I heard the 13th hole was particularly difficult for most of you.
Oh, it was unreal. I mean, it's a tough tee shot anyway, but the wind was like howling off the right, and we both hit it in the hazard, and the green, it's a quite severe green, and it was just blowing the balls off. So, you know, I mean, I wasn't too disappointed with a 6, really. You know, it was very difficult, yeah.
Well, he started with a smile on his face today, and on the evidence of where Evans has ended up on the 18th, I think Sam Connor is going to have a big smile on his face at the end of today.
I would think so. This one has to come out to the right, give himself any chance of being able to chip back up the green. Not going to be easy though, and that's a very well played shot, and that's an opportunity there, Gary.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Wishaw golfer has given himself a chance there, and it's not quite all over yet. Got a bit more time before fat ladies sing.
Definitely. You see Fenwick coming in with a very lofted club. It's also nice, you never know when the game is actually over. Funnier things have happened, you know. He's now left himself with a chip that's got to come across the green, and if it goes in, well, we might see him chuck a little boogie out there for the crowd.
The members watching on. It's fun to see how the pros deal with your course and, of course, these conditions. This is it then for Evans. It's all or nothing here.
No prizes for being sure. Oh, and it is just got underneath it. I think that's probably what you class as a little look up too early, Gary.
Yeah, it just sort of helps if you watch this one. It's just not quite kept still. Club's just overtaking his hands, and the sole bounced underneath the ball and popped it up in the air too much.
Shame, but a very good performance nonetheless.
Yeah, we gave it the big build-up, but it wasn't to be. So Fenwick, to finish off, would have been a disappointing 18 for him. But still moving forward. I think that's the general feeling. Good momentum for this man this year.
Yeah, I get a good vibe off of Neil. Andrew Coulthart, who I know, he says good things about that boy. Says he's a very good player. Plenty more good shots in his armoury. As we can see though, those 3 double bogeys. Well, no, 1 triple bogey and 2 double bogeys, with the bogeys as well, just leading to, well, a monumental score. One that you'll definitely be able to forget, you hope. Anyway, Evans, go on, bud. Knock it in, get it done. Oh, just shy of the hole. The Weetabix ran out at the end.
Well, what a shame for Christopher Evans. In the end, it wasn't to be, but he gave it a really good go. 7 under at the start of the day, but not come the finish.
No, it wasn't meant to be. I mean, the highlight of his round is definitely that eagle at 7, which was absolutely phenomenal. But everyone, you can see, just shooting way over par, and Sam Connor coming up trumps.
Sam Connor then, all on his own at the end of the day. The Dawson Sanderson Foreign Exchange Classic goes to the only man under par at 2 under. Sam Connor is the champion here on the northeast coast at Longhirst. And as we look down through the leaderboard, well, some of the names that we've seen feature over the last few weeks didn't quite have it all their own way here on the course at Longhirst. But I'm sure they will be back with a bang in weeks to come. And so to the presentation. Ian Clough, the director of Dawson Sanderson Foreign Exchange, was on hand to present the trophy to Sam Connor on his maiden victory. Sian is with the champion.
I feel so emotional, to be honest. It's not really hit me yet. I don't know what to say. It feels amazing. Just that's all I can say, really. It feels brilliant. It's just great to do it here, you know, at Longhirst Hall. You know, it's just fantastic, yeah.
And of course, the weather conditions have been so testing. Just tell everyone how hard it's been.
Oh, like I said before, out of a scale of 1 to 10, how tough it was today, it was 11. You know, it was off the charts, really.
Right, let's take a look at how that leaves the race to Desert Springs. Two-time winner Gary King still leads on £20,000, but he's got company now. Wright and Connor making their victories count to feature in the all-important top 5, along with Dunbar and Fraser. Congratulations then to Sam Connor, and my thanks to Gary Ellis and John E. Morgan for joining me in commentary today. Next time out, we're at Cumberwell Park in Wiltshire for the Grenker Championship, with the final day on the 19th of June. Why not come and join us and get a taste of the PGA EuroPro Tour? Just one of a whole host of fantastic venues en route to the Tour Championships at Desert Springs in Spain. But from all of us here for now, we'll say goodbye.
I've got the eye of a warrior. You can call me champion, no matter what.